So today we're going to take a moment. Today I'm going to talk about, there was something on my mind. What was it? Kind of continuing a little bit of what we've talked about the last couple of weeks, in a way. Questioning reality. And then which reality I'm not talking about questioning God's reality. I'm just saying questioning reality. This is a topic that's profoundly deep and yet kind of simple if we just treat it simply and make it natural to ourselves. But, when you look around the world, people are so scared. And this is interesting because some folks, that are online or they email and so on, they're saying, today I was really agitated and today there's a little of that going on. The reason people are feeling agitated is because there's fear. Way too much fear going on. And I mean, the fear is in the lies and deceptions of politics and politicians, its social systems, all kinds of strange things. Now, there's a bigger picture, which is that the world as we know it is falling apart. I've been saying that for at least 20 years, that this is coming. And now it's happening. And people, they don't mind praying and saying, they'll stand holding hands, singing, "We Are the World," and peace and love and Bobby Sherman to the world, It's like, hey, righteous living. And, everybody's into this peace movement. Heaven on earth. Yes, I can't wait. Let your will be done on earth. Religions have been saying that for thousands of years. And now it's happening. And they're like, oh, wait, hold on. We didn't mean it. We want earth on heaven, in heaven, We want our will to be done. And no, even if we want that, it's not going to happen. You can all stand around, everybody in the world can hold hands and pray that the illusions come back. They're not coming back. All you can do is try to ease your discomfort as it dies. Just like a person dying. You can be devastated, go ahead. You can also step into it. This person I was saying we're sort of dedicating the service to, Susan, an interesting thing, just that she passed away the last week, and it was an amazing kind of a thing. It could be painful, it can be challenging, but one of our chaplains went over and saw her, and just wasn't really going to get involved with the person in her coma kind of state. But instead was just there to try to pick up some things and do some logistical things. But, felt called and went over and, took some lavender, put it in a little pouch and felt called to do, and then put it under her pillow. And this person is in like a coma. And she actually starts reaching up for the little pouch that was put under, So even people that are seemingly dead can hear. They can feel, they can sense. But I'm not just talking about the people that are actually in a bed, half dead. I'm talking about the ones walking around pretending that they're living. They can hear you. They're dead. They're mostly comatose. They look animated, but they're not. Their souls are dying, and they don't know what to do. So their human self is anxious. So, somebody goes to a store and, just does normal things. And it's so odd. Everybody's wearing masks. Now, it's going to be very interesting symbolism when they're all feeling called to remove their masks. But people are wearing masks. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I don't care. I'm just saying people are wearing masks. They're hiding. They're holding back. They're afraid. Even if it's all real that there's a pandemic destroying people. Oh my God, it's dangerous. It's scary. Still, people are scared. I don't care if that thing's real or not. People are still scared. And that's real. In this realm, that is a reality that's of concern. Because the more you become anxious about these kinds of things, and the more you shut down, and the more you feel afraid, what's going to happen with that fear? It emanates. It just... it's like a really bad version of aromatherapy. God, it's like somebody, I'm going to choose a scent for my aromatherapy. Bong water scent, I don't know what that is. I just channeled the, help me, Jesus, quick. Anyway, Why would you choose that as a scent? You know, it's like, so people are this wafting this energy, fear. And then when you walk in a room and those people are doing this, even if you weren't doing that, you're picking it up now. Now you pick it up and then you don't even know it happened. And you walk into another building carrying that. And there's that vibe again. Wherever you go, man, God is, I am, we are, bring that light. Just try to bring something different. A little levity, a little lightness, a more smile. And it's not always easy because everybody's tense. Even without knowing it, there's a greater tension. There's a greater worry. And it's quite interesting. If you look at it from a spiritual standpoint, you start to realize, wow, this is an energetic battle going on. This isn't just about viruses and masks. This is a strange, energetic kind of a thing going on. And we're all going to pick up a little more tension here and here and here. Even if you're staying at home and everything's peachy and you just private, you're at your house, you don't have to worry as much, you're still picking it up. Because fear, as I said in February, when there's first a story about this coming, fear is the greatest virus. That's the one you can't see under a microscope. You can't just manufacture it in some other, some clinic somewhere, some lab. It's everywhere, and you either feed it or you don't. Jesus says, resist not evil. That's what he was talking about. See these kinds of wavelengths and try not to fight them. Fighting them means you've become afraid. So really, he's advising not to get involved in, that sort of a choice to succumb to belief in fear, having power over us. I mean, we're on earth. You might get sick. You might deal with this or that. The way I said it to our group, we have an ongoing group. It's free, Edenshire live on Zoom. It's almost every day of the week, and we do that all day with different presenters. But one thing I said in that program is when I had said last year that I'm predicting 2020 is going to have a lot of health and financial and death issues. That's what I said a year ago, long before it happened. And one of the ways to picture that in your mind is this. Whatever number you're at, let's say it's 1990, whatever level you're at in your health, your finances, whatever other category, relationship, think of each of those having their own biorhythm or vibe. And think of health, for example. Let's pretend you were all at a 7. What I'm saying last year was next year, instead of anybody dropping a point or going up a point like you might usually in health, everyone's going to be hit with a few points down, like a stock market crash, but it's a health market crash. And so if you were already at a 5, you're at a 2, very sick. If you're at a 3, you can't afford much. You're 0, you die. You follow? Think of it that way for yourselves. Now, if you're an 8, you can afford it. You come down to a 5. Not great, but, comme ci, comme ça, you're all right. But the thing is, don't take it personally. Just realize you're dropping a point. Well, no, not me, because I wear crystal, everybody's going to take a hit. Nearly everybody. Technically, it's everybody, but some won't show it as much and think, well, I still feel okay. Because if you were a 9 and you dropped to a 6, you'd probably still feel fine. So that's what's happened in the world. If you have finances that are high enough and the stock market crashes and you lose 20 or 30%, you can still afford to smile. If everything you had, and you only had finances at a 3, you're done. You've lost everything. And some people, that's happening. So it's good. I've said this for so many years. Try to evaluate your life and see if you can get those numbers up in all areas. Not because I want to create some other fad, spiritual fad. How are your numbers? When people, you walk around, on some new buzz phrase, whether it's like 4 agreements or Celestine and insights and all the cool things that have come out in books. I don't want a Michael Mirdad, hey, I'm an 8, How's your finances? Oh, I'm a 7. Well, you could be an 8 if you join this group. I don't want to like create some buzz phrase, so I don't overly push it, promote it. But I do when I'm teaching say, self-inventory. How are you doing? And take an honest inventory. Well, I'm doing good. Finances and health are pretty good, but my relationships are a 0. What can you do about that? Can you bring that up at all? You can use some of the 8 finances, to buy a partner. No. And then you're doing all right. A 5 all across the board. No. Anyway, mail order brides or, whatever. But think about what you can do, what you can afford. Please leave a talk like this today doing something different. Don't just go, that was interesting. That's the dead people. That's the people that walk around acting like, they're alive, but they're not at all. And that's the thing with fear. The greatest fear people have, they're thinking the fear is that the world's collapsing and they don't want it to. They don't want to know that these sports can ever end because that's their life. But it's happening. They don't want, I remember in high school saying, I can see it happening. One day sports themselves are going to be threatened. And I went to my dad, I think it was in middle school, and said, do you think it's possible that one day things are going to blow up enough where there won't, even sports will end? I don't think that'll ever happen. But I had a feeling it would. Sports, marriages are not happening in the traditional way. Part of me feels sad for those who had a standard dream. Do I get to walk up the aisle? And, that's a dream. Some people wanted to go to Disneyland or have children that graduate or have kids at 5 get to go to birthday parties. The things that you and I had, because we're very old, the things that you and I had, think about this. They don't have that. They, in some cases, don't even have school to go to. So there's a lot of strangeness going on. People planned vacations, maybe saving up for 20 years. The world is dying. It's passing away. What we're describing is the death of someone and laying on a bed that's a loved one, and we wish they weren't dying. It's normal to wish that. It's sad that it's happening. But is your focus on what Krishna said, what Jesus said, let the dead bury the dead? What do you think that means? Try not to obsess and focus on that which is passing away. Because then you're just as dead as them because you're passing away. Because you're focused on death. See it, go ahead. If you need to track it and look at old issues, fine. Process it, cry, do what you need to do. But bounce back. In some way, bounce back. So in one respect, there's a fear going around the world, and it isn't just they think it's a fear of a pandemic. So picture this, please. People are wearing masks because they think they want to not catch a germ. And yet studies are telling you people wearing masks seem to catch the germ more. Whatever, okay? So you try that on for size. But they're wearing masks to not catch a germ, and I'm telling you, I don't agree that that's what's happening. They're wearing masks because it's a subconscious way of saying, I don't want this death to get me. I don't want the end of the world that's happening to actually be happening. This will stop it. Now I can go to Disneyland. Now I can have a marriage. And see, unconsciously, that's what's happening. It's a defense against something far greater than a virus, other than it's a fear virus. So that's one side, but then it's even more intense because what people are really, really afraid of at an even deeper level isn't just the stuff of the world dying and changing. They're also afraid that if this world dies and the veil drops, the veil that makes us think, okay, everything's copacetic, everything's cool, we're good. We still have life. Let me check the paper. Yep, Disneyland's still open. Okay. And what you think is your reality, that veil is dropping, obviously. But what's on the other side of it? Believe it or not, UFOs and the truth behind conspiracies and Bigfoot and ghosts. All this exists. It's all true. But there's a veil that goes, no, No. When I go in my backyard, I can trust that there's not a Sasquatch. And that makes me feel better. I just want Disneyland and potato salad. I don't even know what that means, but it's a movie reference. You know, we just want potato salad. I think at the movie, As Good as It Gets, is that what the name of it is? Yeah, just want potato salad, you know, makes everybody feel picnics and potato salad. So we're all good. And so the veil drops and all of a sudden, think about it. Now, they've been saying for years, the reason they don't want people to know about UFOs is because there would be mass hysteria. You deserve it. You deserve to have mass hysteria if you've been in that kind of denial. Did you actually think, oh, that disc, that is not there. Let me check with the government, because they can be trusted. Hello, government. I have a UFO in my backyard. Hello, sir, that's mass hysteria. Oh, thank God. Click. As your children are being beamed up, you know. This isn't happening. This is why things are falling apart the hard way. It's because people would not choose the easy way. We could have chosen the easy way. We could have said, wait, this makes sense. There are more things in heaven and earth that are dreamt of in all your philosophies. So yeah, I guess so. That's the first veil that's dropping. All of this other stuff is going to be known and exposed. And some people don't want to believe that. Some people want to believe, no, you just go to church on Sunday and hope that is enough to keep you from going to hell, and then just live hellaciously for 6 other days of the week. They can't even do that in the hour they're at a service, you know? So the whole human thing is disturbing. But then there's another veil. The one that is the worst of all. The one that when it drops, you see God. Because people are more afraid of God than anything else. Why? Well, I won't get into the spiritual psychology. Let's just go with the simple. Because of the programs that God is going to devour people when time comes to an end. That whole teaching and programming that God is a vengeful God. That's even in the Bible. It's just mistranslated, but it's there. Oh, you know, you might have been a happy person in one lifetime until you heard that. God, I'm just happy, you know. And you went to church, or you opened the book, the good book. Yeah, look at this, you know, and God created the earth, and wow, what a powerful God. And, you know, God created us in His image. This is sounding pretty good. I want a relationship. Wait. I'm a vengeful God. I know I've done some things. So if God is vengeful, even my husband or wife isn't nice to me when I do bad things. God's going to be really bad. That's going to be like wife squared. You know, husband multiplied by 1,000. Like, this is not going to be good. If my dad was a disciplinarian, this is God. You know, kings and queens were harmful and hurtful. They'd throw you in dungeons. Nutty people have run this world. God, a vengeful God, that doesn't sound good. What am I going to do? And there's one piece of solution that we have to learn, and it's called questioning reality. Question this world. You see a UFO and they tell you it's not real, ask, then why did I see one? Well, spirits, and you know, that doesn't, you just die and you go in the grave. Really? Then how come people have died and come back and described something? Well, that's just really. I don't agree. Just speak up. You don't have to be violent about it. Just know. Mostly just know. When I walk around the streets wherever I lived in the Northwest for 20-something years, and I've been here 10 years. If the average person bumps into Michael, there's no preaching from me. I'm just high. You know, they don't know who I am. They sometimes put it together. And sometimes I'll see their, you know, and I'm just like trying to distract, you know, and I try to, you know, I really do. I try to like change the subject before they can zero in. Michael. And then sometimes they ask my name. Michael, oh, look at that. You know, I do not go out of my way to tell people the way they should live outside of here. Here I teach it, And outside, I try to be it as best I can. I slip and I try to step back up after slipping. There's moments. And fear is just a bizarre thing. Fear catches you because it's a virus. It sneaks in under the radar. This morning, I showered, I washed my hair, and I looked down. Oh my God, this giant glob of hair. And I literally went, oh my God. And then I realized it's my hair spongy. I'm like, thank God nobody's here to witness that I became afraid for a moment. But for a minute I was like, oh my God, it's happening. And I reached down, I'm like hesitant, but it's like looking at an accident. People like to slow down. And I go, I don't even want to know. What is that? And yet I'm compelled to reach down and pick up this glob of my scalp. Yeah, and I mean, it was like, but it's a thick hair, black hair spongy. And I pick it up and I'm like, oh, good. You could just feel that fear had entered and is now dissipating. But I'm not going to pretend that I didn't have that. I'm like, wow, good one. Good one. Nice little test there. Hair spongy was my God today. Because the only thing that really has power over us is God. And if I think the hair spongy was hair and it made me panic, today that became something of having power. And this is what we do with it, the laugh. Wow, what a weird test that was, I'm not telling anybody about that. An hour or two later, only hundreds of thousands of people on the internet around the world. Because I feel it's important, transparency. Be honest with yourself in the world, But ask questions. Yeah. Ask questions. Ask questions. Do we have evidence of that? God enters the garden. Adam and Eve are freaking out, and God says, what's wrong? We're naked. Who told you you're naked? Why did God ask him a question? Because when you ask a question, you can either descend further into hell if you buy into the illusion of it, or you can snap out of it. A question can make you snap out of it. A question informs you. When a doctor says, how are you feeling? What's going on? Tell me what you're feeling. It helps them zero in on what's going on. You might not like the answer, but knowing brings clarity. You might not like to ask if your partnership is really working. We don't want to go to a counselor. That's what I'm saying. That's like putting on a mask. So my husband and I are just going to wear masks with smiles. And that means we have a good relationship. Really? Have you considered a counselor? Oh, no. We're fine, but you're not. But you don't want to know that things are challenged. And here in this world, we don't want to know things are challenged. And yet they are, and it's falling apart. And the tension, the panic is that we know it and we don't want to accept it. When we accept things, they're not as tense. If a massage therapist is going into a muscle or a chiropractor into a vertebra and you relax, their work is easier. Things will actually open up. Tense on it and you could make it worse. And that's the same with this world. Problems of themselves, what we call problems, don't have power. Tense up and they now seem to have power. Physical, emotional, psychological, whatever kind of power. But conscious people, the last couple of weeks we've been talking about becoming conscious and awake. Conscious people ask questions. Conscious people don't know all the answers. That's what you would assume. Conscious people ask questions. Why? Because they're open. Their minds are like, why? Why is that? We're scared. God says, why? See, God's saying to you, it's almost like rhetorical. Why would you be scared? Because we're naked. Why is that a problem? Well, we don't know. You do know. You have fallen into dense bodies from glorified bodies. And you just realized it. And now you're terrified. If you could bring it to me, I'll shine light on it and you'll be glorified again. You'll be radiant light bodies again. What did they do? Put on masks, hid, and said, no, we're ashamed. And God said, I'm paraphrasing, but God said, that's really sad because you know what's going to happen now? See, they say God cursed Adam and Eve. No, what God did was inform them. Now that you're letting shame become your controller here, your mindset here, woman, you're now going to have pain when you give birth. You can't just create with your mind whatever you'd like to create. You're going to go through physical challenges with birth. Man, you're going to have to earn a living through effort and pain instead of just manifesting anything you need at any given time, which is our inheritance, our right to just believe and you manifest it. But when they fell, they didn't fall in the way that people say and teach, that they fell because they're naughty. All they did was falsely believe something, that they're dense, sinful, flawed beings, limited beings. You believe you're a limited being, you now have a limited body, so now you have pain when you give birth. That's what limitation looks like. Nothing easy. So they fell and they believed, instead of forgiving themselves for being tempted to believe that, which could have turned it all around, they fell. And that's why God's given them a chance. Guys, come on, get the right answer here. And no, we want to hide. No right answer, you don't win. You can't come out of this then. Jesus had moments where he says to his apostles, who do you think I am? Now, why? Because he didn't know? It's not like Jesus hitteth thine head on a rock and wenteth into amnesiac behavior. So he asketh the apostles, who am I? No, he knew. Why did he ask them? So they could rise to that place of consciousness. He got them thinking like a good counselor should with clients, a good healer. Don't just fix people. Bring them to an awareness of empowerment. Where did this come from? Oh, I don't know, just fix it. Oh, okay. Kind of a bummer because there's no enlightening experience. It's just masking. Again, funny phrase for that. Just masking the issue. So, Jesus is saying, who do you think I am? And they're, let's see. Some say one of them didn't even own. He said some people are saying you're John the Baptist reincarnated, which you can't, but he's saying like embodied again. Some say you're a prophet Elijah. Some say, or whatever. They're guessing, but they would say some. That means you're not even owning that what you think. So that's really one level of people. Like he's asking, they're at one level of consciousness. Well, some say, what do you say? One of them steps through. I think you're the Christ. And what does he say? Bingo. He didn't say that, but I mean, what he really said was Jesus Christ. No. So think about that. Think when some people aren't even wanting to say, here's what I believe. Other people, I'm going to blame them. So in case they're wrong, you don't yell at me. I've seen you curse a fig tree and it died. It shriveled up. I don't want any of that, man. So think about how beautiful that Jesus, the veils drop. So when somebody says, do you believe in UFOs? Yes. If you can't get that one, how are you going to own the Christ? Who are you? I don't know. According to my government ID, is that as deep as you are? So to be able to say, you know what? Just like you're the Christ, how are you going to get to that? First start off with, I believe in Sasquatch and UFOs and spirit beings around us. I believe that there's other realms. I believe that we reincarnate. Whatever it is. Own the simpler metaphysical, meta being beyond physical. Own the metaphysical before you expect to own the spiritual. Otherwise, it's hypocrisy. Oh, I believe in the absolute. I just don't believe in the semi-absolute. Try that one on at least. Own something outside of the norm. It's easy if you think about it. It all makes sense. So Jesus, who do you think I am? One of them says the Christ. There's a point where Jesus says to the same apostle, Peter, Peter, do you love me? Yes, Master, I do. Good. Peter, do you love me? Boy, he did hit his head on a rock. I just said a second ago, yes, Master, I really do love you. Oh, great. Little T. Peter, do you love me? And at this point, what's he thinking? Wow, like this dude's. I've already told you twice. Yes, I love you. Oh, okay, cool. Why is he asking them? Because he's bringing the love out. When you ask questions, it's bringing something out. I will ask a partner, an intimate friend, an ex, a child, anybody in my life, a client, anybody in my life. I'm going to ask questions. You may not like them. Then leave. Go somewhere else. Be somebody else's kid. But if you're mine, I'm going to ask you questions. And I don't mean like just a blizzard of, nonsensical questions. I just mean relevant. What's going on? Well, what made you afraid? Really? You had a spiritual experience? What did you see? Well, I don't know. It was just a weird light. What color was the light? See, that's me. I want to bring out whatever's going on. Bring it out. Bring it to the light. Here I am. Just open it up. There's a lot we learn that way. That's a vulnerability that's why I've said 12-step programs are almost more spiritual in their style than religions are. Because it involves this instead of just this. Well, let me just tell you, man, here's where I've been. Wow, that's pretty profound. What got you there? Well, according to this inventory I'm doing, it's a little of this and a little of that and self-serving and whatever. Profound. So Jesus is asking him, do you love me? In doing so, he's doing several things. Jesus was like that. Multiple things happening in every statement in question. But in one respect, do you own that you love me? You said I'm the Christ. Do you love me? Yes. Do you love me? Yes. Do you love me? Yes. Are you consistent with that? He's working him, making that love an integrated thing. But he's also, ahead of time, he's already preemptively, do you love me once, twice, three times? Why? Because days later, he denies him 3 times. So Jesus was already forgiving him once, twice, and a 3rd time. Yeah, that's cool stuff. Chills with that one. But that's just good, profound stuff. Like, to be able to speak, think, exist on so many levels at once. Jesus says when you're asked when you're confronted with adversity, stop for a moment and say, what is this? This is in A Course in Miracles. It's in channeled teachings of the Christ, but this is what the Christ asks us to do. When you're challenged with something, stop and say, wait, what's going on? Like you have a bad dream or you have a bad conversation or you're afraid of a pandemic, stop. Be still and know the I am presence of God. What is going on? Well, I'm having a panic attack. Why? Ask yourself. I didn't want to talk about it. Oh, that's not good. That's like press it down, lock the pressure cooker up and just let it build some more. And it'll sprout out like a new limb, Where did that other arm come from? Well, it was all this grievance and it popped out, So try this. What is it? Like a master. Hey, what's going on here? A parent that walks in the room and the kids are, hey, what's going on? That's a brilliance. Say that to your own stuff. What is this? Okay, well, I'm having a panic attack. Why? Honey, why? Talk to yourself with love. Honey, why? Why are you having panic? Well, because somebody said that they see a flaw in me. They don't like me at work. Are you flawed? Well, I don't feel it. Oh, okay. Start identifying with the I don't feel it rather than what they think. See, that moment of just what is this? Call it. Almost like a how dare you to your fears? How dare you? Do you know who I am? A holy child of God, in whom God is well pleased. Now, do I want to really entertain your opinions? To the contrary, have that kind of backbone, that light in the center of your being. Take a moment. It's like saying, is this voice God or not? Now, if you think God is a vengeful God, you won't know the difference between ego and a vengeful God. But just try believing that God loves you so much, that God only loves everything that is real. Wow. Is that voice God, I started worrying that I can't do this, I can't accomplish that, I'm unlovable, nobody will ever find me attractive, and so, really? Let's sit with that for a second. If you were interviewing God, is that what God would be saying? Would God go, well, I created all things good and perfect. I have no idea what happened with you. Like you're looking bad, man. You got stress lines everywhere, Really? Do you really think God? No, I don't. Of course not. Which is why I say in a way that makes us laugh. Of course not. Then why are you believing it? Why did your heart drop when someone said, I think I'll call this off? Or when someone said, we probably have to let you go at the end of the year. Why does it bring up such stuff? Because it's the stuff we never wanted to see. We masked it, never wanted to see it. So it became a vulnerability that the ego could go after. Ask questions. Ask questions. Buddha said, don't ever just believe something, even if it's me, Buddha, telling it to you, don't believe it until you've tried it out and it works. Test it. Pretty cool. Jesus, by the fruits you will know them. What's he saying? Check it out. He used the phrase a few times in his teaching. Come see. Come here. Come and see. Come and see the good news. Come and see the word of God. It's kind of cool. Like, check this out. There's goodness everywhere, and people are forgetting that it's there. We can be afraid together, but if nobody's anchoring light in that room of fear, then everybody has descended into hell together. That room now is set aside, condemned. Not literally. I just mean right now, there's no sanity. Sad. Try another room. Try another room. Really, at the end of our lives, do we want to say, I report that I tried 100 different locations. I tried Home Depot, the grocery store, the post office, and everybody was insane everywhere, and I just couldn't bring light. Very sad. Because in that failure, that's a vibe you carry, you're feeding fear in the world. Just try something. Try to be the sane one in your immediate family, if not your entire family. The sane one wherever, post office or the high school or wherever you hang out. Another way to ask a question is, what do I want to come from this? That's another question that Christ teaches. Say, what do I want to come from this? So if I decide to panic over something, what do I want to come from this? To remain panicked. Then you're doing great. You're right on course. If you say to not feel panicked, then are you really doing a good thing by watching that show, that news program? Are you really doing a good thing by, if you have old friends that do heroin and you go, I want to be done with that. Maybe, call me silly, call me too practical, but maybe hanging around with everybody, needles hanging out of their arm, might not be a good thing. Maybe you just go, you know what? You guys look like Christmas trees with all these silver things. I'm going to just go hang out somewhere else. But also if you hang around people that are miserable, fearful, hateful, maybe not. Maybe not. Some of us have common sense to not hang around with people that maybe represent, and I'm not condemning those people. If they represent my unhealthy past, maybe I want to hang out elsewhere. Maybe. But it's not just actions and addictions. Isn't it also true with love? Hang around people that have more faith, more trust. Watch Michael Mirdad online, but also try somebody else. Joel Osteen's a really beautiful soul. I know he's kind of more Christian and all that. Doesn't matter. I can tell there's a good integrity and his teachings are positive. I like that. And I also like that all the other fundamental teachers hate him. That's how I know he's good. When I knew they all hated him, I thought, this guy's worth checking out. And he just, hello. Isn't that funny? The whole demeanor. I was talking to Jesus the other day. He's got a big smile all the time. And I like that. It's a different vibe than me, but I can see light. So I like it. There's a couple other worthwhile teachers out there. Just because they sell a lot of books and they're called New Age doesn't mean they're good or have integrity. Just look for books, teachers, teachings that have light. They should be clear. They should be somewhat simple. And by simple, I don't mean 1 + 1 is 2. I just mean simple to digest. It feels like you already knew that. It's organic to you. It's not like force feeding some foreign kind of material. It's like, wow, that just makes sense. It's not scared straight kinds of Christianity. It's not hyper traditional. You could just tell it's light. So watch and read. And you'll notice when you land a few of those, there's a consistent frequency in them. And then you'll know how to recognize it more often. I can pop open a book and in a paragraph, I can tell if it's there. Channeled, traditional, whatever it happens to be. Sometimes just the look, the feel of the book, the vibe. And I could go, that's interesting. What is that? And inside I can tell it's good stuff. Light. It should be clear. So, what is this? What is this for? What is my intention here? What do I expect to get from this? And whatever it is you're doing. If you have an addiction, you're getting stoned or drinking or whatever, what do I want to come from this? Happiness. Hasn't happened yet. So maybe I should say, if it's not bringing me where I want to go, maybe I need to stop getting on this ride. I mean, that's simple. I know the human ego. I know the situation that we're going to be tempted and go back to our old ways. I get that. But the more we get used to not choosing unhealthy, that'll become the new. The new normal, and so on. I've had people ask me, hey, would you like to go out? I've told you this before. I go, why? Which it pretty much kills it right there, So it explains the constant loneliness in my life, but no. Okay. But why it makes it easy to go years, if I choose to not have relations. Which, I can do that. I can have them, I cannot have them. But when you have that kind of a line inside, ask a question. And if they go, well, I don't know, it was just, I was compelled and addicted to do, see? No. You wanted to blindly go in and you wanted me to go along with, why? So asking, can I be, hey, I'd like to be your friend, why? I don't mean literally to stonewall them. I'm saying on some level, have that kind of question inside. When someone wants to hang out with you, just feel it. Why? It's matching kind of good vibes energy. That sounds good. If they're trying to rob you of something, drain your energy, they're looking for somebody that can fix them as a partner, to rescue them financially. No, it's good to know that though, because if you'd like, maybe I can help you and suggest some things and guide you. When your kids want something, hey, can you help me with my car payment? Well, honey, you're 55. At some point, why are you needing help again? Oh, I can't believe you. You always have to ask questions. Yes. See, this is really a great way. When some of you go, well, how do you get rid of toxic people? Ask questions. They don't usually like that. Toxicity loves blindness. It loves to stay secret. So when you ask some really cool questions, people are like, this person's a drag. I got to go off to somebody else that just goes with compulsions and addictive behaviors. Honestly, that's how it works. So what do I want to come from this? Where would you like to go with this? Where are we going? If you're in a business, it's the same thing. No, we don't want to think about it too much because we just got to work hard and we don't want to think negatively. Avoiding negativity isn't avoiding negativity. If you're in avoidance, it's dangerous. If you're clear of it and can set it aside because you have no interest in it, that's different. Because one, you're clear. Oh, look at that. Because you asked, what is this for? What is this? I've had people say to me, Michael, I'm going to give you $1 million to open a retreat. Why? See? And I've been offered that, let's pretend 5 times in my life, which is probably roughly true. 5 times. 4 of those times died on the vine. As soon as I say why, because I think we can do so, and I think here's what we should do, and I would like, oh, really? I'm not interested. 1 in all those years said, I would like to do this unconditionally, that's it. And they helped purchase a retreat we had for many years. See? But ask. Just because someone seems like they're bringing you something doesn't mean it's right. Ask, what is this for? What are we doing? Ask tactfully, ask with love, ask from a good place, but ask something. And 4 out of 5, it died immediately when I saw agendas. Now, most people are going to go, oh Lord, help me not notice the agendas. I mean, why? I would be a fool. Anybody in business would think, you're a fool to not take $1 million or $500,000 or whatever somebody's offering. Never settle. I don't care if, this partner's cuter than the others. Yeah, they have a lot of restraining orders out on them, but they're so cute. They're so cute. You know? I mean, you've got to go, But I just think they're so cute. Maybe what they needed was a good person like me. No, just stop. If something feels like there has to be a bargain and where you have to talk yourself into it, it's probably not the best thing. But ask questions. Buddha says that. Jesus said, Christ says that. Our hearts and souls tells us. Why? Ask questions. It sounds like you're, again, I said, kind of losing the excitement of something by asking. If you ask properly, you gain enthusiasm. You gain inspiration. People don't realize that. You know, you're supposed to just go on the excitement. Guys, no, that's not an awakened person. An awakened person, steady as she goes. Grow relationships, take your time, ask what's going on, you know. People ask you questions. It's okay for you to say, well, can I ask, why do you want to know? You see, that still is enlightening. So I can tell where you're coming from. People have said to me, oh, when's your birthday? Why? Today, as a matter of fact. Oh, so you're yeah, I guess so. Are you going to give me something now? It's my birthday. You know, then they ask you 3 months later, when's your birthday? It's today. Any day I'm born again, which is every day, I open my eyes, I'm starting over, it's my birthday again. You know, why do you want to know? Most people want to know because they would like to figure you out and put you in a box. Oh, and I've had this happen often where people will say, what sign are you? And I don't really go into that. I don't really care. I believe in astrology, but I'm saying I just don't go that direction with people. And they'll say, well, I think you're, and they'll name something. I'll go, oh, exactly. And they'll just, I love it. Oh, I knew it. You knew what? You had a list of things you wanted to assign me to, and it fit now. Good for you. Why was that needed? Why did you even go there? It's just kind of silly. So, this world is dying. Ask some questions. Even if you're mourning at somebody dying in a bed, look at them. Oh, well, I'm just normally sad. You're not normally sad. It's normal to feel sad. No. What else is happening? Sit down. You know, sit down with it. Wow, what's going on? Oh my God. I started having flashbacks of when my grandparent died or my parent died or my best friend in school. You know, let that come. Let it come so that you can mourn all your losses at the same time. You know what that's called? Efficiency. It's true. Why would I want to be affected 20 times in my life by deaths? Do it once, all 20 of them at once. I'm not saying you force it. I'm just saying mourn loss. When you're feeling upset that something in your life is not in control, or it seems like somebody's betrayed, you're working on all betrayal in every betrayal. You're working on all losses in every loss. If you're conscious. The ego wants to split them all out, not have you work on any, but if you work on any, it's going to be one at a time because now there's 10 chances of you failing. Spirit says, honey, could you bring them all into the now? Let's work on it now. Dissipate them all now, and then you're free. And most people don't even know that's a possibility, so they don't choose it, which is being unconscious, a talk we've done in the last couple of weeks. Please understand, the world's dying. Ask questions. What is this? What is this feeling happening when this person passed away? What is this? I'm noticing I'm slamming cupboards. What's that? What's that about? I notice that I freak out when I see hair in the drain. Wow, what's that? What was that about? And you might come up with, I don't see anything. An hour later, someone from high school pops into your mind. That's making connections. That's where you let, without knowing it, you've given permission, maybe not realizing it, you've let the Mother, the Divine Mother, the Holy Spirit of God, start weaving things for you and saying, okay, here's a little memory. And most humans, God, that's weird, and pass through it. You missed your chance. Pause and go, wait, back that up, backwards and like a rewind. It's not by chance. If I did a prayer earlier to work on abandonment, why is that person popping into my head now? Oh my God. There it is. And then into your hands, God, I surrender this person. In any wording you want to do it. Wow, I remember that. Oh, that did feel a little yucky. Good. Give it to God. Okay? Ask questions. You're awake when you're asking questions. You're asleep when you're not asking questions. Again, I'm not talking about challenge everybody in a negative way. Ask enlightening questions. Questions that would enlighten your clients. It would enlighten you. You become enlightened. You're in the light. You've exposed things so that they're clearer. Why are they afraid to believe in UFOs or Sasquatch or whatever? See, if they would do a mass healing, they would peel that layer off and those things could be exposed and now out for everybody. People would see that deceased ones aren't gone. They're usually hanging out a bit. Saying, honey, I'm just here to give you some love and support. Guess what? I'm going to whisper in your ear. When you finally shut up long enough, I'm going to whisper in your ear and say, guess what? In the backyard, there's a vault of gold. And you're like, oh, and I can't believe you left, and I'm so sad. Then when you die, you're like, the vault of gold. Now I can hear you. And they're like, you were challenging when you were our kid, and you're challenging now even on the other side, Please come out. Ask questions. What's this about? I'm afraid I'm going to get what my parents had. Why? Why are you afraid? Something's going to kill you in this world. Why is that one? Why does that make you afraid? I wanted to have this disease, but not that one. Why? Right? Why? I'm attracted to this type of person. Why? Really? You actually think a child of God can be attracted to a type of person? I am all that is. Ooh, what's that? Like a type? No. It's something behind it. What's that about? Past life preference, maybe. A wound, perhaps. People you have an aversion to. How can a holy child of God have an aversion to anything? Angels don't live like that. So if I'm like an angel, how could I have that? Because I have issues. So let me expose those. What are those issues? Let me see them. Let me free them. Please take a few centering breaths. Just shake off this world. Center in. Feel love. Feel appreciation. Feel lightness. Learn to ask. What did you learn? What did you hear today that made sense? So ask, what did I hear that made sense? What might work for me? And breathe it in. That's how we integrate things and make them real for us. By asking, owning it. How are you going to own it if you don't ask? What was of value? Let it present itself. Don't judge it up or down. What was of value that I heard today? Hopefully more than one thing. Whatever it is, breathe it in. That's mine. I'm not being told that UFOs are real. I own it if you decide to own it. I'm not just being told that masters have always said, ask questions. It makes sense. This is mine now. Hear it, feel it, know it, own it. Asking is a way of countering the clenching of fear. It helps give the opportunity to unlock it and open it up. Why is that? What is that? What did I hear today? What did I learn? Oh, well, that's pretty cool. I think I'll own that. That's where I'm at now. So in one spiritual talk, I'm a different person than when I walked in. I'm already different because I've already adopted new ideas and concepts. Channeled teachings of Archangel Michael. He's consistent when he says, ask without ceasing. Don't believe in this world and its power over you. And if you believe it has power, no problem, ask, why do I think that? Why would I choose to believe that something like this has power? Why would I choose to believe that my ex not liking me has power over me? Or that my parents not giving me more love has power over me? I don't actually have to buy that. And if I'm going to buy it, I'm allowed, but ask, why would I do that? Even when we're descending into negativity, if you want to do that, you're allowed. But all I'm asking for is asking why. And it's enough to keep the door from getting locked. Once it gets locked down, it takes a lot more steps to come out of it than if we'd have caught it when it was shutting down. And as we're coming to a close with this, not only the stuff the world has done, think about gossip, comments you've made about yourself or others, even about yourself, just in the last week. Oh yeah, this is bad. And this politician, good and bad, and all that kind of stuff. Just look through the week or the month and see if you can find anything when you ask these questions. Is what I said absolutely true? Is it loving? And is it necessary to have said it? But be honest with yourself. Did I say anything recently that might not have been absolutely God-level true? Was it loving? Or was it not loving? Was it necessary? Was it not necessary? Be honest. It's how you clear your soul. It's like doing confession. Yes, there were times when I slipped. If your head starts to justify, yeah, but stop. And just say, the fact that I'm starting to justify or excuse myself probably means I'm off. So, it can't hurt for me to own it and say, oops, into your hands I surrender this comment. Like Jesus saying, I surrender my spirit. Into your hands I surrender this comment that I made. And I'm going to use this criteria a little more often before speaking. And I will slip, likely. And when I do, if I do, forgive myself again. Is it absolutely true? Is it loving? And is it necessary? Even if something were true, was it really necessary to say that? Did I add to the light or did I dim the light? Because anything I'm saying that is true, loving, and necessary will add to the light in this world. Anything else will dim the light. Do I really want to bring that dimness? Just feel it being lifted up and out. There's no condemnation. There's no payment you have to make for it. Gift it up to God and welcome in truth and love. And only that which is necessary. And so it is. Nicely done. So just take a moment to stretch a little bit, back into the body, back into the room. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here and your commitment to your path. I did a talk here once called Love Loves Love, or God Loves Love, something to that effect. And that's the truth. Love loves love. It loves more of itself. It's not like love has to love hate. Love knows only love. God knows only God. All else is manufactured, bogus to stuff of our little minds. Once we get over ourselves, we start to see the real, the presence of God. Again, thank God. But love loves love. And, it's nice if you can all tune in to realize, wow, there's a lot of places I could be on any day of the week, including today. It could be somebody watches this 3 months from now, at 7 p.m. on a Wednesday. But to sit and be able to be part of a spiritual experience like this, that's the love in me creating more love for myself. You could watch this way down the road and still love loves love. When you see that you like this, that you appreciate this, feel good about this, you learned from this, that's you bringing more love to yourself. This is just the actors, the people, the bodies in the room. We're just playing a role, but really, oh my God, I've demonstrated some love and self-worth today by manifesting love and self-worth. So please don't underestimate those decisions. They're usually made unconsciously, but we can make them more consciously and have more often in our lives. Centering into gratitude. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. And wherever we go, God is. I am. We are. And so it is. Is that true? Yes. Do you really believe that's true? Yes. Take that with you today and question anything else to the contrary. God bless. We'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.